good guy. He does what Williams do, I guess.
Except for when I told him to
Your
put
show
that
will
wire
go
away.
live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Blog Talk Radio.
Blah, blah, blah. Oh yeah, I know you people are feeling it now.
Joe Bludgeon is live from New York.
Feeling that rhythm, huh? Ah, coming at you. Making all the juices flow. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Makes you want to. Alright, this is Trooper Joe. We're here on ArchAngel, a return to Chivalry. So it must be Wednesday, and it must be 3 to 4. And we're here on Blog Talk Radio. And we're here on Facebook 9, or Facebook somebody, well, right there. You hear that, what's his name, Zuckerman down there? Zuckerberg down there at Harvard giving the commencement. Yeah, we're using your media thing to get the word out to people about many different things. All right. Well, of course, I got to say something about the world events going on, because we had some terrible things happening in England with all those people getting killed, the kids getting killed. That's you know. I mean, that makes it hurt even more, because they're just young lives getting wiped out by young lives, and it makes you think that this world needs an enema, you know, to quote the Joker from Batman. I always love that phrase. Wife hates it, I like it. But that's okay. Yeah, but so, you know, heart goes out to them. Condolences to all the families and everything. It's a sad state of events and everything. But we as a people, we can't let these things overtake us, and we become bitter within ourselves, that, you know, we just start seeing negative terrorists everywhere we look. Oh, that's a terrorist over there. There's a terrorist over there. Here come another one over there. You know, we can't do that. We have to, you know, rise above that. This is a world where love has to dominate. It's got to be. The world has to be driven by love, or it's not going to work. And that's what we're going to talk a little bit about stuff today. We're going to talk about mere survival is inefficient. It's not enough. Just merely to survive in society. And this is one reason I think that we're having a lot of terrorist type of stuff. What's their end game? Are they just surviving? Are they just here for the small little quick minute that we're here on this earth, and then they're gone? But while they're here, they're going to create as much havoc as they can? Or are they here because they have some real need to make a change within their society? Or are they here because they're really trying to keep their society going? That's that survival stuff like that. You know? But we'll get to that in a few minutes, because I got more sadness, you know, talk about the graduation, the kid, what's his name? I can't think of his name, down in Virginia. It just went right out of my head, who got stabbed at the bus stop with his friends over nothing, over, you know, a seat. Can I have a seat? No. Okay. Yeah. I don't know if he said no or not. Wasn't there, you know, so he gets stabbed to death by some guy who looked like he was drunk and on drugs. I'm saying that's what they're saying he was. Now, but are we just going to accept that? No, it's black and white here, boy. This is good press. We're going to run with this for all kinds of hate crimes and all kinds of things like that. Because he had been on a website that espoused hate and bigotry.
Louis State student who
Richard, his name, Troop, sorry about that, Troop, his name
That's
was
okay.
Richard Collins III.
Richard Collins III. He was quite an outstanding individual. I have to, you have to praise the young man for the small amount of time he was on this planet. He accomplished quite a bit. He just got his commission to be a lieutenant in the reserve. He had just graduated from school. The next day he was graduating from Virginia Tech, I believe it is. And he was on his way. He had won physical fitness type of ordeals during his school tenure. It's a military school, so they have physical fitness tests all the time, and he had maxed those out. And he had just done quite a whole lot of things in his young life. So I'm sure he didn't want to die and stuff like that, but I'm sure he went on to glory with a air of satisfaction. Nobody wants to go, but I guess if you're going to go, make sure that you left a legacy behind you. And it seems like he left a legacy. Well, the poor guy, the other guy who stabbed him, it's like, from what they're saying now, you're on drugs and an alcoholic. It's like you're leaving nothing behind you. It's a poor, miserable individual. And the only thing you think you can do about being a poor, miserable individual is try to bring somebody else down, all the way, in this case, all the way to the end of life. But we have to be better than that, folks. We have to be better than that. It's just, and you know why we have to be better than that? Because we are. We simply are. Even as hard as we try not to be better than that, we are better than that. So it's like, let your good self out. There's a lot of love to be given out there, and this is part of ArchAngel. This is ArchAngel. It's a return to chivalry. There's no shame in loving your neighbor, and there's no shame in being polite. That was a situation, I guess, where, did he ask for, could you move over with a seat? I don't know if they said okay or no or whatever, and somebody died because waiting for a bus to sit on a bench. Really? Really? Waiting for a bus, sitting on a bench was the catalyst that caused another person to die? We have to be better than that, because that really that's not enough. That's not enough to kill people. That's not enough. That's not enough. That's not enough for anything. Sure. That's not even a McDonald's sandwich, that's just not enough. So folks, that's why we have ArchAngel. Like I said, we all have to aspire to return to chivalry. All you got to do is realize that there's a privilege to being a nice person. It's a hidden privilege. It's something that you and you alone can feel. But somebody else or many, many, many other people can feel the rewards of you just being nice to them and stuff. Or they don't even have to sense it or not. It's not about them. It's about you and the privilege that you feel and the goodness that you feel within yourself. Just doing something right. Just being a nice person. Because if the world is starting to turn to something that really I can't even, it's so frustrating to try to find a way to really say how wasteful and useless and how that's what makes that so sad. Not the kid who got killed was such a outstanding individual and all these things like that. Not that the other kid who killed him was down on the lower fringes of society. Not that. The situation for a seat on a bench waiting for a bus. No. We got to be better than that. We got to be better than that. That's crazy. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I don't want to, it's, you know, I really don't want to talk about it anymore. I want this change to happen. Folks, it's just, it's making me motivated to get more of the work done I know I have to do. You know, sometimes I get lazy and not doing it, but I have to do it because even if you don't want to be better than that, even if half of us are better than that, you know, that's not enough, but it's something. We can't go down that road. That's just leads nowhere. That's just out to lunch. That's like that movie. What's that movie? Fringe? Where they have one day a year and run around and kill everybody?
Oh.
Yeah. It's like, is this what we want to do? to get rid of our frustrations? Yeah. I never saw the picture, but I've heard about it.
Yeah, I can't think of the name of it.
Anyway, but that ain't what we're talking about today. This is what we're going to talk about. And it has something to do with that. It has a lot to do with that, actually. We're talking about mere survival is inefficient. It's not enough. And what do we mean by that?
The Purge.
The purge, yeah, that's what we're telling you. Are we going to go to something that's just purge, you know, and just do craziness like that because we're such savage, beastly individuals. And that's a beastly, savage act right there. There's nothing human about that. But there's nothing animalistic about that either. Animals don't even do that. You know, that's crazy. I can't find out what a word for it. It's not human, it's not animal, it's not vegetable. Plants don't even do that. Nobody does that. and yet, when it happens, we don't even identify that this is a craziness. Yes, of course, we look at I'm back on it. We look at the kid and all the achievements that he had and all the potential that was in front of him, and you know, for him to maybe do some good. And the other kid, he could have maybe pulled himself together and pulled himself out of the hole that he was in. He's finished. This other kid's finished. They're both finished. And the bench at the bus stop is still there. It's still there, folks, for a seat on the bench at a bus stop. Ridiculous. You know, that's ridiculous. No, that is not ArchAngel. That's a fine opportunity to be chivalrous. Sure, sit down. You know, hang out. You know. But no, didn't happen out like that. Alright, let's get on with this here survival stuff here. Because we want to talk about that. Now, survival, this is what survival is. Survival is similar to just what we were talking about. Survival it comes, you know, with survival of the fittest. You know, people say, oh yeah, survival of the fittest. Our genes have to survive. We have to survive. Well, this here survival, I'm talking about survival of yourself. You know? Do you want, you know, you get to choose for your own survival mechanisms and stuff. You could choose to be an individual, right? Or you could choose to be part of a group. The choice is yours. And both of them may have some good in them, and then they might have some bad in them. Yeah? So how do you choose? How does one say, you know, I really want to be an individual. I want to be somebody that's going to walk on a different path of life. I'm going to take the road less walked upon. You know, I'm going to do that. This is just how I'm going to do. And we in America, oh man, that's a brave, outstanding, successful person because he does that. He might be a lost soul. I don't know. He definitely would be an individual. He can make that choice to choose on which side of the path he wants to walk. Or he might say, no, I'm going to choose to walk with this group. I really like this group. It's a group that studies philosophy. I like this group over here. It's a group that studies research in different type of medicines and stuff. And I want to be part of that group. I want to be in with that group, you know? And that's just as great as being the individual who's going to do it on his own and stuff like that. There's nothing wrong with either one of the two. But both of them have their good. Like I said, you could be the individual and you can walk and you can, I'm going to do this. Nothing's going to stop me. I'm going to become the scientist that cures the misery of the common cold. Now, I'm going to be that scientist. I'm going to work myself into that. I'm going to find out about that, and I'm going to do that. And so you chose to be the individual. Or you can be, I'm joining this group over here that's going to get a hold of that common cold, and they're going to drive it out, and they're going to cure that common cold because I like the way that group thinks. I like the way their mindset is and stuff. And that's all right. They're working for the same goal. You see? So that's the thing. But that's the survival. That's how we survive in this world. We work towards achieving accomplishments and making changes in the positive. Yeah? So that's the survival type of thing. So to survive as the individual, like I said, you're doing it alone. Your choice, and that's a good thing. And then the surviving as the part of a group. But here's the part that comes into play that doesn't sometimes work. So now you chose to be an individual. So in choosing to be an individual, when you first start out, you're having some really great self-motivating gains and stuff, but you reach a plateau. And on that plateau, it's like, oh, I don't know which way to go. So you're going to go into some hard research and everything. And you might be hard researching and you might become a recluse. And then your research is still there, but nobody knows that your research is there. Nobody knows what you're doing because you didn't interact with society. Because nobody knew you. But then on the other hand, you chose to be in a group. But when you chose to be into the group, you became a drone. You became just an automaton. You became part of the cloud. You became part of the collective. And as part of the collective, you just get assigned a task within that group. Now you're not really producing what you thought you wanted to produce as the individual. You're not curing the common cold. You're not or defeating the common cold. You're just being part of the group that's going to defeat the common cold. And if that's enough, that's great. That's great. But like I said, the drawback is you become like a drone. You become like a robot. So you can only work on this. So you narrowed yourself down into a little box and everything. And you can work as hard as you want on that, but that's it. That's as far as it's going to go. And then it jumps over into the other thing, and then it builds and all the blocks come together, and you cure the common cold. And everybody stands at and they all get a collective hoo-ah, and they feel good about it. But the individual, he hit the roadblock and stuff. And within the roadblock, as the individual, he can get out of that roadblock. He can overcome that roadblock a lot easier than the drone can step outside and want to be doing something else within collective because somebody else is doing that job that he wants to do now because he's completed his task. He wants to assist in another task. He might be in a collective that likes to do that. He might be in a collective that says, no, you can't do that. Just wait. It's all going to be good. You'll see. The individual, in his waiting, he's still researching. The only wall he's hitting is how am I going to bring what I have accomplished now out there so it can be used by the other people. So the individual has a little bit of an edge, I believe. This is only me. I believe over the person who wants to be part of the group. And if there's some way that you can join these two, this is how you really get things done. But it'll be really hard to join the group and not step outside of your bounds to hurt somebody else's feelings, because you can't control the other person's feelings. So if you made the nasal spray for the cold, and it's the greatest nasal spray in the world, but it has to go into the bottle, but you didn't make the bottle, you know, it's like your nasal spray's not going to work, yeah, until they make the bottle, and then the two of you can go to the dinner and be good. So let's see, how would you create you if you chose to be an individual? This is the powerful thing right here. Yeah, this is the powerful thing right here. You're choosing to be the individual. Now this is where, when you choose to be that individual, in the first seconds of your choice, the first thing you have to choose about it, who am I? You know, that's the first thing you have to look at in that choice to being that individual. Not what I want to do, that's a given. You know, you want to eliminate the common cold, but who am I? What motivates me to be able to eliminate to go on and attack the common cold and beat it down? What's my strong points? What's my weak points? You know, you have to look at all these things. You have to make a whole map of yourself. Literally, just you know, with roads in it and dams and big mountains you got to go over, and all kinds of different water hazards and all kinds of things within you that you have to look at. You know, and this is what you have to do first. So the thing you want to do is fine. This is what you want to do. But you have to look at you so that you'll be able to do it. You say, all right, now who am I? I'm a mathematician, actually, at heart. I like being a mathematician, you know? Okay, that's good. How am I going to use my mathematical skills to be able to defeat the common cold? Okay, I can do equations. Yeah, I go way into these math things that just all crazy, because I really love that stuff. Okay, who else am I? I'm a healthy. You know, I like staying healthy. I like working out. I like eating healthy. I like doing this. I know a lot about that stuff. Yeah, I know a lot about eating healthy. I know a lot about working out. So I'm a healthy mathematician. You know, so far you got two things. You find out who you are. Who else are you? I don't read so well though. Now you got a negative, you know? But you have to have your negatives too. You can't let your negatives be masked over and hide them under some logic by saying, yeah, I don't read well, but. You know, no, don't put no but in there. As soon as you put the but in there, you're going to negate the whole truth of the negative. If you don't read well, say it. I don't read well, so, you know, I'm going to have to work on this reading well. Yeah, so because I need to read well, because I'm going to have to do a lot of literary searches to find out just exactly how this common cold works. I don't have to worry about all the equations and all that kind of formulas and all those things that go along with this. I can do that. That's easy. I got that, you know. And I don't have to worry about running my body down and with overly stressful things and stuff. I don't have to worry about that. I got that too. I'm physically fit. I'm going to stay physically fit. I'm going to stay active within myself on this realm too, so I won't have those physical stresses because my body hurts or I'm hungry or something like this. I got that, you know. But here's my negative. So, okay, I have to work on that. Not a but. Never a but. I have to work on my reading. I can do this. You know, so now you got a little bit of plan over to the left side that you have to work on too. So, and just also in creating yourself, you know, now you got to look at other things. Oh, you know, I don't think the wife and kids are really going to like me spending 20 hours a day working on curing the common cold, you know. You got to be honest with yourself too. So I gotta find time for the family, because I'm a family man. I like my family. I love my family. So I have to find time for my family. You know, and I have to find time for my other activities that I enjoy to do with people and stuff. So you got to put all them creating your who are you? You're creating yourself. So this is the individual that you're becoming to cure that common cold. And as they develop, you'll see that, yeah, that's pretty cool. You know, I like that. I like that. And then, you know, there's way on the other end of the spectrum as you start to go further and further along. You'll come to things like, you know, I really like sci-fi. You know, and just by saying that you really like sci-fi, you might even say, you know, sci-fi, there's a lot of creative thinking in there, you know. It might be sci-fi, it might be foolish, but it gives me an opportunity to relax. And in my relaxing like that, I can never know what's going to happen. So I better keep a pencil and paper in my pocket all the time when I'm relaxing, just in case some inspiration just jumps out and grabs me. I can write it down, you know, or something at the bed. I'll keep a journal in the night, and I'll also, within the journal, I'll leave a space where epiphany comes in, I put it down. So now you're creating your individual, yeah. And this is the very first thing that you have to do if you're going to cure and defeat the common cold, is you have to be the person confident enough to know who you are. Not confident enough to defeat the common cold, because you might not win. Common cold is a pretty resilient rascal, you know. He's training too. Yeah, he's training to beat you. So you might not win. So, and that's another part of you that you have to really know is you, not develop. These are just things that who you are. You don't develop them. The only thing that you developing and working on, and it's not really working on, is your negatives. When you find the thing that you can't do. You know that it's going to be hard. You know that it's going to be a challenge. You know that you can handle it, because over on your positive you say, yeah, I can handle this. I do these things like this. I can handle that. You know, and then, you know, you're confident enough to go in there and handle it. You may not improve your reading skills at all. You don't know. But you will be able to do the research, the literary searches that you want to do, because you would have told yourself you wanted to do that. It becomes part of you, is that I'm going to do this even though it's difficult. Yeah, and that's powerful. That's powerful. Well, it's already halfway through, so I ain't going to spend too much time on this next one. But before I do something, I'm going to read a little essay that I just happen to like. You know, it's from Emerson. Y'all know Emerson? Oh, Waldorf. Well, Waldorf Emerson. Yeah, he was around in many years ago, a couple hundred years ago. He was a writer, poet, philosopher, kind of them guys who kind of hang around and write poetry and think about philosophy. And he had a question from an essay I was looking at this morning. This essay, Experience, and it starts out, where do we find ourselves? Always on a staircase. There are stairs below us, which we seem to have ascended, and there are stairs above us, many a one which go upward and out of sight. The task of life is to transcend the past, to never remain where one starts, to find a place of one's own. See? I was reading that this morning, and it just happened to fit so nicely into what my topic was going to be. I just said, I gotta write that down, you know. That's from that's his opening sentence, paragraph of Experience, which is a very long and very intense essay. If anybody really wants to, you know, just, you ain't got anything to do with your brains for about a week, read this and it'll just make you be like, what? I never thought of that. I did think of that. I heard of this. I mean, this is actually from this one experiences where people quote that phrase, but they done already paraphrased it so much it come out. If you, well, he didn't say it, but it's in the essay. If you don't learn the past, then you're bound to repeat the past. If you don't look at the past, you're bound to repeat the past. I think that's not exact, but that's how it came out, and it's been flipped all the way around by many people and stuff like that.
Karen Trainer says that she's listening.
Hi, Karen. How's things going? And this is Troopy Joe sending lots of love to Karen and everybody else that's listening out there. Love is going all the way around. And I hope that you're having fun listening, and tell Brian I said hello. I like Karen, she's good. We go down there on the 4th of July and eat her food. Yeah. And Christmas. She's really a great person. Now this is a woman, I ain't gonna talk about her in just a little bit like that. If you met Karen, you would love Karen too. She's somebody who gives of herself just because. She epitomizes what an archangel is, you know, so like I just had to say that. She'll probably be mad, but that's okay. Okay, now that's a little bit of Emerson right there, you know, so just think about that. I'll give you the last part one more time. The task of life is to transcend the past, to never remain where one starts, to find a place of one's own. That's creating oneself. That's becoming an individual right there. That's what that, for me, that's what that whole long essay of experience is all about. But it's a real good read. It's a very thoughtful essay and stuff. Well, I'm going to have to pay the bills just for a minute, and then we're going to come back and talk about our second one. The second part of your choices, because you got to choose. We talked about an individual. We're going to come back about choosing to be in the collective, to be part of the group, you know? So, all right, let's see what we're paying bills with today. Hello! I'm back. This is Trooper Joe, and I'm back on ArchAngel. I've returned to Chivalry. We're having a lot of fun. Hey, you people out there that's listening and everything, if you want to call in, you can call in at 323-870-4069. You can call in anytime during the show you want to. I'll be glad to take your calls. I'll be glad to shout you out. I'll be glad to anything. But you can't call in and giving any kind of derogatory uses of language. You got to be clean and above board. You know, that's the only thing that'll happen. But call in and voice your opinion if you want to, or anything that you want to say, or just say happy birthday to somebody. I don't care. You know, it's all good. See, that's what ArchAngel is about. Good. It's all good. Now let's talk about the collective. Now we talked about being an individual and you know, becoming an individual. Now we're going to talk about somebody who wants to become part of the group, you know. Now, one thing you have to think about when you become part of the group is you're going to have to give up something. It's a sacrifice to be part of the group. You got to give something up for the general purpose. So if the general purpose is to cure the common cold, you got to give up some of your creative freedoms in developing the cure to the common cold, because you can't do it all by yourself. That's the individual. He's over there, you know, he's on the other side over there doing it all by himself. In the collective, you got to give up some of that individuality and stuff like that. And so you give up freedom. Let's first look at a couple of what collectives I think are collectives anyway. Things we belong to, groups that you know, we're just in them. We didn't even ask to be in them. We just in them. Like your family. You know, nobody asked to be a part of your family. Everybody loves being part of their family. But, you know, I don't think anybody said, you know, I think I want to be in the Jones family. I like the way they say Jones, so I'm going to be in the Jones family. So, nah, you're born. You had no control over that. All your parents do it. And they would come from something. So being part of a group that you have, you're just in it, because we're all in groups, it's family. Then you get nationality. If you were born in England, you won't be an Ethiopian. You can get to be a naturalized Ethiopian, but you'd be an English person because you're born in England. Or you're born in Spain, your nationality be like that, which is a good thing. I think that's a very powerful thing, because now that gives you something that you can start to look at and develop. You can develop very solid love for who you are and who your ancestry, who they are, and how they developed, what they did, their whole social thing. And then that's the nationality in the country. Then there's social groups. You kind of choose some of these social groups, though. The social groups are more the collectives that people sign up for on their own. Like an educational social group. You could sign up to be an academic, just by going to school, and then you become an intellectual, and you want to hang around with people that are intellectuals, and because this is what you espouse to be. You signed up to be that type of person. Anybody's can have entrance into it. All you got to do is to work. You just can't walk into the little coffee shop and say, okay, I'm an intellectual. And they'll say, you want cream and sugar? Well, that's about as far as that intellectual conversation is going to go. So, but if you're a philosopher, or if you're somebody who's in the medical research field, or you're somebody who's in ethics or anything, whatever it be, a scientist or anything like that, you're really, really into it. It's more on the individual level, but you're really, really into it. The group that you join into is that group. You join into that group because you're getting pleasures out of that group. You're getting the feel good out of that group. Yeah, and the purpose. There's many different purposes for the groups in this educational kind of thing like that. It might just be so that they can collectively come together and talk about what it is that they like. Because I tell you, it's frustrating sometimes. I had a great interaction a few years ago with a friend of mine I had met for the first time. He did his thesis in anthropology, and I studied anthropology for many, many years. We just hit it off big time because we had something to talk about. Most of the time, I can't talk anthropology with somebody. People used to know back in the day, they knew I liked it. They talk about the Cave Bear movie or something. It was really nice, so I'll be polite, but it wasn't much to do with any anthropology. It was more Hollywood than it had anything else to do with it. So that's what you get when you become an intellectual. You join the social group of being an intellectual. You give up some of the freedoms that you have of just general small talk conversation, because you really won't get to talk about what it is you want. And then you join a group for sports. Sports is probably the hardest group to join. You can join the group for sports. If you join the group for sports to play group sports, like the ones that actually have to have numbers to play the game, you might get your little itty bitty feelings hurt every once in a while if you're not the one that's being the superstar. And you think that you might be the superstar. So you have to give up that. You have to sacrifice the glory that you want all the time for the glory that is shared among everybody that's playing. Yeah. Unless, you play for the Patriots, and then all the glory goes to Tom Brady. But I guess not even so now. I guess Gronk is overshadowing Tom Brady now, so maybe his little itty bitty feelings are getting hurt. I don't know. We'll have to watch and see. But see, you have to give up. You get in a group, you have to give up something, in order to be part of the group. And then we have yeah, kind of idealists, you know. I call them idealists. They're kind of more like the people that's out there, and there's many groups of them, but they all come under the one umbrella. You know, they want to do good for saving everybody, but they want to do altruistic good. You know, they want to do good all the way down to the level of where they actually put themselves in a state of needed help, you know, and that's all right. But those altruistic type of people, I don't even know if I'm pronouncing the word right, but that's okay. Yeah, that's a hard group to be in. And there's many different kind of ways of that group. We got groups like that that walk around and they want civil liberties for everybody, you know. And it's like, and what are they really giving up for themselves? They're giving up their own freedoms in some regard. They're giving up an opportunity that they might have had to do something else in life, trying to get freedom for somebody in a faraway country and never asked them whether they wanted that freedom in the first place. I always think of these people that did all this great, wonderful good to, I forget his name. He was a runner or something like that. I think he ran a marathon, and he was from Mexico, and I forget his name. And they were going to really do things for his community because it was a really destitute down and out community, and they gave him all kinds of these electronic devices, that microwaves and stuff like that. They didn't have electricity. You know, it's like this is what that group does sometimes. So they give up actually the ability to help somebody, just and put themselves in a situation where they really can't help anybody. The electronics that they gave them can't be used. They didn't have electricity to plug them in, so they just sat around and they, you know, get mold on them and wither and die, and then they're gone, and nobody's there to replenish them when the electricity does show up. So now they've been exposed to a way of life that they didn't understand, they can't afford, and now, but they want it once they see the benefit and the convenience of it. So sometimes being the idol, you know, changing the world and making everything nice is good, but you have to stay within the realm of reality. But reality doesn't really fit in that altruistic world of changing the world. It's all heartfelt, personal, big, hot, gonna do this, gonna really gonna make everything fine. It's an egoistic type of thing that happens, and you put yourself in a situation where you actually begin to suffer, because I'm sure a lot of those people who gave that stuff after a while thought, we really didn't do anything good. So now they're starting to feel bad about themselves. So, like I said, to join a group, you got to give up something. You got to give up something. And then there's these other gender groups and stuff like that. You know, these are groups that you were born into anyways, you know. Almost. It seems like they're trying to make it something new now, you know. If you was born a man, you a man. If you was born a woman, you're a woman. Except if you was born a man and you think you're a woman, then you're a man who thinks he's a woman. Or if you was born a woman and you think you're a man, then you're a woman who thinks that you're a man. You know, and I'm good with that. I really don't care. I'm not going to spend too much time on that, because I really don't care. That's an individual type of. If your individuality is just that tied to your gender, you know, unless this is real for you. I have no idea. It might be real for you. There might be people out there who really do feel some kind of psychologically being trapped within themselves, that they've been giving the wrong gender identity. Their phenotype doesn't match their genotype on some level. They just aren't who they think they are. You know? And for them, I would tell them become an individual. You know, don't join a group. You know, if you join the group, you're going to give up. You're going to give up yourself. If your gender identity is really at stake like that. Become the individual and walk yourself and create that map of who you are. You know, and if you're somebody who's like that, you'll be perfectly fine with it. You won't have any problems because you would have said, that's me. You know? But if you join a group, somebody else is telling you, that's you. So you don't want to do that. Time's getting short here. Oh, it got way too short. I want to run through these because I like to do the fitness thing at the end. So we only got a little bit of time left, so I'm going to quickly change the subject, and we're going to talk about the 5 secrets of steady exercise, okay? I got it out the Wall Street Journal. So this, you know, is going to come from somebody who thinks they're on an intellectual level of exercising. So, you know, and actually their level is intellectual. They're going to intellectualize and exercise. You can't intellectualize exercise. It even starts, you know, someplace it starts out like this. Most of the people pick regular times to work out and stick with it. That's a given. Everybody knows that. You know, that's what you do. It's like you pick regular times either because you feel like this is the best time for you to work out because this is the most time you have, and after that you're going to do something that's relaxing. So this is the first thing that you want to do. Try to exercise at the same time every day. Here's the second thing that they want you to do, right? An increased number of active people are widening their definition of exercise. And that's okay. They're thinking that mowing the grass is exercising. And it might be mowing the grass if your mower has a date on it that says 1942. If you got one of them 1942 mowers and you're mowing the grass, you're working it. But if you sit down and you're working the gears, I don't know. I doubt if you get any of it. Because this is their reason for they think that other stuff is good for exercise. They say, many people think exercise has to last 30 minutes and make you sweaty and exhausted. I don't agree with that either. I think exercise lasts as long as you make exercise last. If you're going into the gym to work out or you're working out and you want to work out for an hour, work out for an hour. If you want to work out for 20 minutes and it's a hard, strenuous 20 minutes, work out for 20 minutes. There's no time limit on the exercise and time that you need to do your working out in. But unless you cutting the grass, like I said, with the 1942 mower, with the little 3 blades that you got to sharpen before you cut the grass, you got to get those sharp. Then you really got to push this thing. It's not fulfilling the need. All right? And here go the next part. Here go the next part right here, number 3. This is how you stimulate and streamline exercise, your pre-exercising routine. You know, this is your pre-exercising routine. They believe, I guess, that everybody works out first thing in the morning. So the first thing you want to do for your pre-exercise routine is have your clothes laid out on the floor so when you roll out the bed, you put them on in order, then you go out the door. And and we all know that's not going to work. That might work for one day, and then the second day, where's the socks? Under the bed, I can't find the sock. The frustration starts to build, and then the next thing you know, you didn't plug in your iPad or whatever it is, with your radio and stuff like this. So it's not going to work. You know, you didn't fill your water bottle or something. It's not going to work. But the routine if you're thinking you have your clothes, you should put your clothes out every night anyways. You should have your clothes you should know what you're going to wear to work and the next day, and it's over here, just for convenience. If you're going to work out in the morning, those clothes should be ready for you to just put on. If you're going to work out after work, they should already be in your jump bag. Down, right near the door or in the car. You're already set to go. You just grab your jump bag, you're off to the gym. Right? Now they got another part here. This is an important part. This is only one part that they seem to have gotten right. It's like flexibility is the more important part of your workout routine. You have to be flexible to be able to work out. So if you're working out and you're not incorporating flexibility in your workout, then it's really not. It's going to be a half a workout, and eventually you're going to injure yourself. You're going to injure yourself anyway. But your flexibility is highly important. But you do not need to just go and say, I'm going to go do 40 minutes of yoga before I work out. If you want yoga to be your exercise and everything, just say, I'm going to do yoga. But you want to make it strenuous yoga. You don't want to make it some watered down kind of thing with pretty little names in it. Do the lotus blossom or whatever they call it like that. That's not working out. That's not. Eventually you'll be bored because the lotus blossom won't be taxing. And folks, let me tell you what. All this yoga that everybody's doing, it's an isometric exercise. It's really, really strenuous if you do it right. So it's going to negate the first, or is it the first one? You will be sweaty. You will be sweaty because you're holding this tense pose and you're focusing all your muscles and you're contracting all your muscles. And that's going to generate a whole lot of heat. It's definitely a hard thing to do if you want to do it right. But flexibility is hugely important. And the last one, they got this one right too. They got this one right. I think they do. It says they're more likely to exercise for pleasure than for weight loss or other long-term health goals. This is the one that they got right. People, and we talk about that on the show a lot anyways, it's called training. That's your pleasure. It ain't working out, it's training. They just have it here. People are more likely to exercise for pleasure than for weight loss. Weight loss, you're trying to set this goal, you're not going to make it. But if you're training, I'm training to go whatever you want to do. You might be training to stay the best individual to cure the common cold, but you're training for something. So the exercises that you're going to do more exercises than somebody who's working out. They're going to say, okay, I got to do 10 reps. 8, 9, 10. And if you're training, I'm training to whoop this common cold. Yeah, I got this cold. What am I on? Who cares? I got it. I'm feeling it now. 13, 14, 15. You're training. You just keep going. So that's a little bit on the 5 secrets of exercise, and I'll quickly go over them one more time, I guess. Exercise at the same time. This is theirs now, and do different kind of eclectic exercises, different kind of tasks, like cleaning the house and cutting the grass is not exercising, folks. So this one really doesn't count. And the second one, the one after that too, putting your clothes all over the floor or someplace like that so you can just jump into them when you get out of bed. Everybody doesn't exercise at the same time. It says so right at the first place, exercise at the same time every day. Everybody really doesn't do that. Some people exercise at 3 o'clock, and then they might be on Wednesday. They say, man, I missed my exercise at 3. I got to get there at 6. to get there at 6. So you gotta be flexible. And speaking of flexibility, the next one is be flexible. You have to stretch. You have to stretch because that's very, very important. And the last one is train, don't work out. You're going in there to train and don't work out. Well, I want to thank everybody for listening. I hope everybody had a good time. I had a good time. I thought that topic was pretty difficult. I had a good time with it, and I got to put in some of Emerson, you know. So that was a good time. That was a good. I'll read that last part again. The task of life is to transcend the past. That means you're improving on what you did. You know, what came before you, you're improving on that. To never remain where one starts. You know, you have to make advancements. You have to find out who you are, and you have to move forward on that line. And to find a place of one's own. And you can join the collective, folks, but join the collective as an individual. Join it as yourself, and make sure that yourself is the part that's being taken care of in service first. Well, I want to thank everybody again for tuning in, and this is Trooper Joe, and I'm sending love out to everybody out there who wants it, or, you know, if you don't want it, that's okay, I'm sending it out anyway. And this is Trooper Joe, and have that fun. I'm God. Yeah, I went over. Keep going over.
That's okay, we got the time.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Well, that was that. Now they can all run around.